Okay, so today we're going to talk about details on your monster, and you have your base made that's wrapped around the can, and today you should be able to take this can out, and if the paper towel comes out easily, go ahead and remove it. If it doesn't, leave it in there. It's okay. It'll just burn out in the kiln. And this should be firm enough that you can attach your pieces to that today without harming it. If it feels like it's a little loose like mine is, then just leave it in till the end of the day and we'll take it out then. So I'll leave mine in. Now you should have a sketch made of your monster in your book, and I want you to look at that picture of what you have drawn and decide what ceramic techniques you need to do and logistics that you need to figure out to make that work, and what kind of personality you want your monster to have. So today what you're going to need to do is get a piece of clay that's on your tray. You're going to need your paper clip. We've got our vinegar that's ready to go. And you may need a roller and sticks. If you're not rolling out clay, you won't need that. But you need all those tools kind of ready to go so that you can finish your monster. On my finished one that has not been glazed yet, I added the eyes. I added a place that I wanted to add some eyelashes to after it's fired using some pipe cleaners, and I probably will shorten those. So you got to think about things that you're going to add to this later if you're going to add some things like that. And you have to remember there's a lot of logistics on the clay that you have to remember procedures, so we'll go over that to get that to stay together. First thing you want to do is make sure if your monster is going to have a mouth, to do that. So you're going to roll out a clay. This doesn't have to be as thick as the sticks on the mouth. It could be if you want, but this is for some of you, this is just a review because you've already gotten this part done. Use your stick as a ruler and your paper clip and cut your lip that you're going to add to your monster. Check and see how big you need it. Well, that is way too big, so I'm going to cut some of that off. And we'll try to do this quickly. So then I've got my mouth. For the teeth, some kids cut triangle teeth, some kids cut rectangles. For time's sake, I'm just going to add 2 teeth onto mine. You need to add some vinegar and score it wherever you're attaching things. Put that on your mouth so it's sticking up. And then we're just going to go ahead and score where we want it on our monster, right here down at the bottom. You could attach it so that it's an overbite or an underbite. And I'm going to lay this on top and make sure that I have put the vinegar on and smooth that bottom edge in so I make sure it stays. Just like that. When you do an eyeball, you can attach it right to the clay piece, or you can give it an eyeball socket like I did with 2 pieces of clay. Just for time's sake, I'm just going to do this because I think some of you already have this part done. What I'm finding out as I fire these is that kids are forgetting to do the scoring and putting the vinegar on because I'm having some pieces fall off when we put that on the kiln. You'll want to make sure that you really kind of twist that and turn that in. And remember that anything thicker than your thumb, it could blow up in the kiln or break, and we don't want that. And then you can add other detail using other things. Boy, that's really sticky. And there's my eyeball, and I'll add another one there. So this one has 2. I want to talk to you really quick about arms. And when you do an arm, or if yours is going to have arm or other things, I know some of you talked about making your monster so that he can hold on to a toothbrush or a sign that you can add later. You're going to roll out some clay for the arm. You do not have to cut it from the slab. The important thing is not to get this thinner than like your index finger. If it gets too thin, then it will not be supported on here and could break in the kiln. Another thing I've noticed is if the clay gets too dry when you bend it and if it starts to crack, then you need a different piece of clay. Just put that back in my recycle bag and get a different one. So this is about the right size for an arm. You really don't want it any longer than about your pinky or index finger, or it could break off in the kiln really easily. Anything that's long and skinny is going to break. So I'm going to put it right here, And I'm going to score and put some vinegar on there. And I would attach that. And then you can bend it if you wanted to make a spot for like a sign. Make sure that you're making it big enough to hold a stick that we can add later. If you want some fingers, maybe I want a thumb, I can take my paper clip and just slice it for a thumb and make that. And I could add on fingers by doing the same thing. This guy has 3 fingers on each hand. He's not going to hold on to anything because his are just out. So that's how you would do that. Some kids wanted to do